I would say that for anyone thinking about writing a memoir, having to relive some of those experiences, some of those early incidents, some of the later incidents, to remember that those are shadows at that point, that you are not the experience. By writing my memoir, Belonging, a journey of healing, forgiving, and manifesting everything I ever desired, it was important to me to tell of my experiences and not to tell others' secrets. Trauma isn't a badge, it's a beginning. Many normalize trauma, and survival becomes identity. What we survive doesn't define us. How we rewrite it does. So my book, aptly called Belonging, a journey of healing, forgiving, and manifesting everything I ever desired, is my conversation to all on how I rewrote my identity and remembered, and how others can come home to their remembering. At our remembering, we find our true connection to the divine and to ourselves. Today, we are inundated with how-to discussions on how we can manifest and attract a life we really want. From experience in the laws, I discovered that to attract these realities, I needed to heal and forgive others and me. Forgiveness meant ultimately letting go of the shame, as shame is one of the biggest blockers of manifestation and peace. How does someone shaped by survival stop seeing themselves as broken? You remember, that version was built to protect you, but it's not all of you. The real you is already whole. So we start showing up as the version who feels safe, seen, and powerful right now. So layer by layer, I found my greatest abundance in joy, and everything I desired came to be. The place that so many folks in the city called the hood was the place that I called home. It taught me about community, and in this place where I was raised, I learned leadership, I learned love, I learned community. I also learned heartbreak, but more importantly, I learned resilience. I lived in 3 separate units over the course of my life, from childhood to my teenage years, and they were formative years. I lived at 96 Stillman Ave, I lived at 142 Stillman Ave, and I lived at 53 Stillman Ave in Crescent Court. In the book Belonging, a journey of healing and forgiving and manifesting everything I ever desired, I talk about, not in a linear sense, but in a very integrated sense, events and experiences as I grew up in Crescent Court in these 3 particular apartments. And so it was so much of a family, it was so much a community. And when I was a young teenager, or when I was a teenager, working with Our Positive Posse, and I discussed many of those formative years and our opportunity and to be a national youth group and award winners in the community. Our Positive Posse actually met in my grandmother's old unit where she lived. So our office became that space. And so it was having that space as both a child, but then also as a teenager, to continue the formation of who I was growing into and the strength that I was building. In my book, Belonging, when I talk about the metal trash can that saved my mother's life, that one day when I was in elementary school, we lived at 96 Stillman Ave. And so while I only lived at 3 distinct places in Crescent Court, I was connected on so many other levels and so many other homes within the community, particularly since my grandmother, my father's mother, lived at 2 spaces and 2 units within Crescent Court as I was growing up. So there's definitely a deep connection to this community.